Hello, good evening, and it's Lilia from Heal Scotland with today's live, which is obviously happening much later than usual, but hopefully that means some people get to watch it instead of having to watch the replay. So, tonight we're going to talk about judgment and wanting to be right, judgment of others, judgment of ourselves. And hi, Susan. And how that affects. Obviously, this last 2 weeks, so we're in the second week of our intermittent fasting challenge, and very often, people say, well, stress can make you gain weight, stress can make you lose weight, but also when you start to understand the way the hormones work and the way the cells work, it's really powerful to understand how our thoughts and our feelings, our perceptions, our beliefs, and our behaviours can add to the stress of the body. And it's truly fascinating stuff, but what it involves is a lot of self-awareness and, hi Craig, and a real full-on ability to take responsibility for our actions and, but more importantly, our reactions. So tonight we're just going to talk, we'll do a little bit of breathing. We're going to look at how we're judging other people. I don't think there's ever been a time, certainly in my memory, where we've been so polarised by our beliefs and how difficult it can be to stand up for yourself, but also the judgment of others and the judgment of your body. We've probably spent an entire lifetime judging the cells that we live in. Hi, Leslie. And you know me, I always talk about things from a cellular level and what are the cells doing. And when we react, a lot of things happen in the body, exactly like a lot of things happen when you get cold, a lot of things happen when you fast, a lot of things happen when you breathe properly. So everything's happening in harmony. And that's really one of the big things I want to bring to you with the Heal Scotland movement, is that we can't separate things out. We like to separate vitamins out. We like to separate body parts out. We like to separate behaviours out. It's all one big harmonic instrument that's working together. So that's why we have to really look at it from every perspective. And the bottom line is, the happier you are, the less judgmental we are, the more joyful that we feel on a daily basis, the more likely we are to succeed in everything and anything that we do, whether it's losing weight, gaining energy, attracting your soulmate, creating a new business, attracting a new job, whatever it is that you want, is going to be that bit closer to you if you can manage your cells well. So let's just start looking at judgment of others. I know a lot of people have spoken to me about this. They're finding it challenging. Friendships are changing because you've got two friends who've got completely different points of view. It hasn't happened to me so much with my friends, but certainly within your circle, there are people that are very, strict, and there are people that and fearful and take it very serious, and there's others that don't. Possibly I'm in that camp. Not possibly, I am. I'm sort of wondering what's actually going on. And I know that can be really frustrating for people that really believe that there is that we need to be very careful. And so I'm not going to go into the rights or wrongs of that or my beliefs, because they're really irrelevant. As far as the Heal Scotland movement goes, my only desire for everyone is to help them be alleviated from the suffering. And for those of you who don't know me, you might not understand how I got into this. When I was 32, my best friend's daughter was diagnosed with leukemia at 16. And that changed my life in that split second of finding that out. We lived for a long time after that in intense fear and stress and grief. And I spent a long time thinking, Well, what's so awful about this? Two things: I didn't want her to suffer and I didn't want her to die. So what is dying? So my friend bought me the Celestine Prophecy and I read that and I started to expand my awareness of what it is to be human. Now, whether my beliefs are right or wrong is irrelevant too, but it made me feel better. And that's the thing you have to do with your beliefs. When you realise that you can change them, believe things that really serve you, serve your family, serve your soul, and don't make you angry. And when it comes to death, I've done a lot of work around that as well. I have a very different view on that from a lot of people, and probably the same view as a lot of people too. So that's really what it comes down to. When you suffer a lot, and that can be in anger, in pain, in resentment, in childhood trauma, and really very tough stuff that we all have has happened to all of us, then we carry that past with us. And if you're into Joe Dispenza's stuff, you'll understand this about reflection. We're seeing in others what is in ourselves. We cannot see it if it's not already there. And we all have this phenomenal capacity to love intensely, but also to hate intensely. And I know I thought I had moved past hating others, but when my daughter's friends really stabbed her in the back and stole money, I felt the pain and rage because it happened to my child. So that rage, that anger, I didn't know it was even in there. I was like, wow, that ability to react is inside all of us. And that's really why we're here, to learn how to manage these emotions, how to stay calm when the storm is raging all around us, because that's what's happening right now. There are storms all around us. People are struggling and suffering, and that is causing more polarity and more division. And what happens is that people are attacking and being unkind and unfair because they're making stories up based on what is in here. So if you've been either being judged, and there's a lot of control. When we want people to believe what we believe, that's about control. And, you can try and control others, and maybe you have done that for a while, like we all have. It doesn't work. So if it worked, it's okay. The only person you can really control is yourself and yourselves. So what we're looking at here is when we judge somebody, the ego comes in and says, she's this and he's that and they're this. Guess who gets hurt? Yes, us. When I react strongly to somebody, my cells darken and contract and tighten. I change my own chemistry. I put my heart rate up. I fire the vagus nerve, which goes right into my digestive system and sends, it says there's a problem, that my IQ goes down. This is all science. Bruce Lipton's biology belief explains this perfectly. So when we're having these reactions, and they're triggered from the past, and they're triggered because we want to be right, and we believe somebody else is wrong, because we can't be right without making somebody else wrong. So the suffering comes in lots of different insidious little ways, because the mind's quite clever, isn't it? So there can be very obvious reasons. When we start to react with anger and bitterness and whatever it is you're reacting with, we literally are stabbing ourselves. And if somebody's betrayed you or done something really nasty, or if you've had loss or grief or pain or trauma or abuse, what happens is we keep thinking about it. And of course, what happens when we think and think and think about it is we create neural pathways and we lay down the worry lines, quite literally. And I just wanted to talk about, I was watching Paul Stammet today, how that when you take these hallucinogenic mushrooms, what happens because I'm fascinated about them for trauma and abuse and PTSD, is they actually create new neurons to override the past and the pain. So, but that's another live. I'm just going to do some breathing with you and help work on the judgment and work on, if you're a control freak and you're trying to control others and teach others and tell them what to do, now's really not the time to do it. We're all just struggling to survive, really. We're all worried about somebody in our family, whether it's because of COVID or whether it's because of mental health. Everybody has got their stuff right now. So when you start to do a lot of spiritual work that I've been doing and a lot of personal development, you have to take the responsibility back to you. Your reaction is your responsibility. No matter how annoying and aggravating and awful this other human being is, your reaction is down to you. And the only way you can ever stop reacting is by taking full responsibility for that. And I do a lot of this work with my private clients. So, because obviously when we react to in our relationships, with our partner, with children, grandchildren, we all do it. That affects them and affects us. And often it is coming from the past. So when you realise and recognise, I need to stop this reaction. And we're all on a level of stress alert just now, I think, because of everything that's going on. It's just crazy. You're lucky if you're not experiencing any stress. So what can happen is that there just comes along a straw that breaks the camel's back and you snap and you say things. And, you know, friendships may never be the same again after this. I think we all have to accept that because people are just going different ways and there's a lot of hurt and isolation from people around us because they're trying to stay safe, but it still affects the person who's been isolated. So, but we need to make peace with ourselves. And if there is a situation that needs addressed, it has to be addressed from a place of non-judgment and anger. And then you can come to some kind of compromise around it. So what we're just going to kick off with the 4-7-8 breath. And then we're going to think about somebody or some situation that you're finding really hard. And we're going to dive into it with a few of the techniques. And my intention for you tonight is that you just see things differently. You see things from a higher, lighter perspective. And, you know, it's right now, people don't want to speak their truth because the fear of being ridiculed. That's all about approval, judgment from others, you know, and that's what humans do. We gang up. And if you feel that you're being ganged up on, this is going to really, really help you to see that it's not like that. It's just people's fear that they cannot help being pushed at you, and you'll feel that. You'll feel it in your chest probably. So let's just start with the 4-7-8 breath and get ourselves nice and calm, and then we'll start to look at that really annoying other person, and we'll do some diving in and see if we can really release all the judgment. And then we're going to look on the judgment of the body. What is the body doing, and what has it been doing for all these years without us realising it was following our direction, and how we can use the releasing of the judgment to help us really kickstart the metabolism, gain energy, and leave the rest of the world to do their thing, and we just focus on getting our vibration up into these higher levels of joy and acceptance and trust that it's all going to work out. Okay, so we'll do 4-7-8. If you've not done it before, breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8 with your tongue and your gum just above your front teeth. Okay, so breathe in, hold, and out. And in, hold, and out. And in, hold, and out. and in. Hold. And out. Okay. And just see how that feels. Remember, your body talks to you in feelings. And a lot of the feelings are coming from the past. And when we start to let go, and I invite you to let go, the mind can tell you, don't let it go because you're letting somebody or something off the hook. Nothing could be further than the truth. The only person you're letting off the hook is your cells. Okay, so if you've got somebody or something that's really grinding your gears, what I want you to do is just think about them or think about the situation right now. It could be something from the past. It could be something that you're expecting and predicting in the future. Either way, the suffering comes because we're not in this present moment. So I'm now asking you to go into the past, find something or somebody you're heavily judging because they're not living their life in the right way. They're not doing things the way that you think they should be done. So they're a bad, bad person. So think about them. Now what happens is when I get you to bring a memory in from the past, there's very often an electrical hook on the memory, so you'll feel it in your body straight away. So think about the person and then feel what you can feel about this bad person or this bad thing that made you react. And then if you can feel it, you might not get an intense feeling. You might just get a lot of chat in here. You might just be looking at me going, what is she on about? Either way, there's part of you listening. You're here for a reason. So if you can feel anything, just take your attention and dive into the sensation. It might be in your chest, your belly. And right through and out the other side. And dive in. And right through and out the other side. Now remember, this may sound weird if you don't really understand what's happening. Emotion is energy in motion. We are just energy, and when we have a feeling, that's what it is. It can feel very solid, it can feel very real, because it is in that moment, but we always have the power to welcome it and let it go, or dive into it and let it go, or breathe consciously. And then the cells will expand like this, and just like magic, it will release. So you have all the tools. If you really see the body as an energy system rather than a big robotic lump of meat, this makes more sense. It's energy medicine. You're working on the electromagnetic field, not in the physical meat. Although it affects that obviously instantly. Okay, so we're going to do that again. I'm going to get you to think of a person, maybe somebody that's hurt you or disappointed you or irritates or aggravates but creates a reaction in you. Think about them and just see if there's any electrical charge around that human being. Any reflection in there. See if you can feel it in your body when you go into that memory. Observe, learn to listen. What's the body telling you? Yeah, can you feel it? Can you feel something? So this time what I'm going to get you to do is just tap. I'm letting go of this reaction. I can feel a reaction in my body. I can feel maybe sometimes you feel it's tension. It can just be words. It doesn't matter what it is. If you thought about it, you want to let it go. I'm letting go of all reaction to this person, to this situation. It takes courage to let go, but I'm letting it go. I'm going to see what it feels like not to hold on to this rage, grudge, etc. Just keep breathing, keep trusting. You're intending, it's happening, it's the law. I'm letting go of the stress, I'm letting go of the judgment. And I'm letting go of taking it personally. Because I know It's never personal. It just feels like it's personal. I'm just letting it all go now. I'm setting my cells free from this judgment. Letting it go, I'm letting it go. I'm digging deep, finding the courage to just release all that suffering. Okay. So you're intending, you're tapping, you're reminding the body, come on, because the body holds the score. Come on, let it go, I'm here now. So you're taking over from the subconscious and you're using your power of your free will to say, okay, right, enough already. Because that judgment comes in like lightning. The judgment, the rage, the need to, to shout, to scream, to attack, to judge, it's subconscious behaviour. And right now you're finding these subconscious behaviours, these reactions are happening more readily, more easily, because we are in this heightened state of alert, because it's so different for all of us, and we're not getting our friends and our hugs and our chats and all of that. Well, most of us are not doing that. So all of that is really healthy and essential for human beings. The way we're living right now is just really inhumane. But anyway, that's another debate. That's me judging. So hopefully you can just feel that a little bit less aggravating. And you can keep going back to that. Just think about the person again or the situation again and just see, is there any more charge in there? This is electromagnetic we're working on here. Okay, now when you judge yourself or another human being, you send out a frequency. So not only is there a lot of internal changes happening in the body, your electromagnetic field goes out, and I was the queen of this. I could just give somebody a look and a feeling, and you would dart that energy right to them. I'm working on that, and trying all times to make sure, no matter what is going on out there, that you keep your own vibration up and keep your vibe high, no matter what people are saying or doing. And that is, if you think about it, usually the work that I'm doing, it's with people that are struggling with another person, right? Or a situation. But right now, everybody's struggling to some degree with either the situation or with other people. Because either they're loving it and they're hating the people that are not doing it, or they're hating it and they're, loving the people that are doing it. So either way, we're all in this opportunity to really look at ourselves and all the reaction that's coming up. Because until we can do that and fully be the master of our emotions, then we're not free. We're simply not free. And when we're worrying, I wonder if they're talking about me. I wonder if they see how much weight I've put on. I wonder if they saw me eating this. I wonder if they saw me doing this. I wonder if they saw me, whatever it is that you're worrying about, either what somebody else is doing or what other people are thinking about you. All of this causes intense cellular contraction. Now, it might just be a little, they're an idiot, they're this, they're that, they're that. Or it might be full-blown, oh, really? I mean, some people are really finding this really hard, so they're going into this real dark and contracted state. Now, what do we know that can help this dark and contracted state? Well, we know that water, hydration, we know that fats, essential fats, if you've been following my lives, all of this is in the last week's ones. We also know that thoughts, negative thoughts and feelings, we know that judgment, we know that lack of light, we know that hormone imbalance, all of these things, other people coming in and making us feel small or judged or less worthy, because that's the other thing I want to talk about as well, is the superiority complex that a lot of people have. So if all of that is affecting every single cell in our body, because every cell's having a response, they're all doing different things, because some are eyes, some are legs, some are arms, some are the brain, but they're all being affected. Every cell in the body is affected when you think, feel, see, perceive, believe. So this is why it's so important to learn this stuff and to have some fun with your friends, because obviously we're going to bitch and we're going to gossip and all of that, but it's catching ourselves. And as long as you don't have that deep, dark intention to bring another human being down, then you can lighten it up, because this is we're a work in progress. We're learning lots of stuff. And, you know, I keep saying this even with intermittent fasting. Don't make life more stressful right now. Make it more fun. Tribe up with other people who are like, right, okay, I need to stop complaining. I need to stop bitching. I need to stop judging, because it's not helping us. You know, we're getting pitched against the police. We're getting pitched against our neighbours. It's a strategy. It's a divide and conquer strategy. And we don't want to fall into that trap. So let's now go on to believing that we are cleverer or superior to other human beings. Now, I remember one time when I was working in a rehab with recovering addicts, thinking that it would be amazing to use nutritional shakes with the addicts, because my nutrition head was saying I need them to have a lot of nutrition, I need them to be hydrated, so they've got the best possible chance of doing the work that I'm teaching you right now. And I spoke to somebody about it, and they looked at me and said, well, I'll leave that to you. I'm not interested in that community. And I was like, wow, you think you're better than these people. And that's what happens. You know, we have a class system, whether we speak about it or not. Maybe it's because you're more beautiful than me. Maybe it's because you're younger than me. Maybe it's because you earn more than me. Maybe it's because you've got a better job title than me. Maybe it's because the house you live in. Maybe it's because your postcode. Maybe it's because the car you drive, or your watch, or your handbag, or whatever. All of these concepts that go around us believing we're superior or believing we're inferior. And that's the hilarious thing. We're all the same. We're absolutely all the same. Some have got a lot more privilege and chance than others. And I believe our role here is to help the less privileged, because they're human beings just like us. You know, every child deserves a chance. Every human being deserves a chance. And now we're understanding of the neuroscience of the brain, the neuroplasticity. It is absolutely, if a country that ignores the less well off, however you're judging that, is that really, can we really live with ourselves if we think that's okay? We're understanding about addiction and why people become addicted, and we've got amazing, and we're not using any of the new information to help others. So the Heal Scotland movement, if we can get enough people, the people that are able and capable to help themselves, to learn how the body works, all the stuff that you can do for free. My friend Claire Holohan and Janice Klein, all the incredible information we're going to bring to you on a budget. Everybody can access this, and the people that can help themselves will, and then we can help the people that can't help themselves yet until they can, by giving them a fishing rod and maybe some fish. But we have to all have the fishing rod, and we are interdependent on each other. This is not about, I'm okay, Jack. Everybody, we need each other. I think this pandemic has shown us that categorically, that all you need actually is your friends and your family, and obviously good food and a few other things, but you know what I mean. So let's do a little release. Maybe you've got somebody who feels they're superior to you, or maybe you have felt you're superior to someone else because you're more knowledge, or because of whatever reason you have for being special. Because we've all done it. Let's not kid on, we haven't. And we probably will do it again. But we need to pull ourselves up on it. Because this is us. We know what to do. We're aware. But the actual doing of it on a daily basis is a lot more of a challenge. So let's do a little release on somebody. What's that? We definitely need more equality. Yeah, well, we're going to get it. And we're not going to get it from the government. We're going to get it because we're going to get back to communities and we're going to create it ourselves. Because we're not waiting around for the politicians any longer. There is, I think we'll agree, no point in that. So, think of somebody who thinks they're better than you, or that you think you're better than. Because we've all got it inside each of us. Okay? Now, where can you feel it? What can you feel? It's all illusional, remember. Your feelings aren't real, they just move, and I'm going to teach you how to move them faster. Our thoughts are just all thoughts. It's all just programming, conditioning in the past. So just bring it all in. Don't be scared. Bring it all in. How superior do you think you are? How superior do they think they are? Where can you feel it? And just dive into any feelings and just welcome them and let them go. Just keep yourselves expanded. Let every goddamn thing go. See how light you can feel at the end of this session. Okay. It's all about what you believe and perceive. Okay. So I'm not reading everything because my eyesight... Oh, thanks, Kim. That's lovely. Yeah, I'll answer everything afterwards because sometimes I just get distracted and other times I just can't really read what it is. Anyway, so, and let's just tap around. Even although sometimes I've believed I was better than others, and even although sometimes others believe they're better than me, and even though sometimes it feels like that, it really feels like that. And even although sometimes my self-esteem's low, and sometimes my self-esteem's high, I deeply and completely love, trust and accept myself. Even although I'm just a human, an imperfect human making my way, trying my best to be beautiful and slim and toned, and to be a really, really good neighbour, mother, grandmother, daughter, sibling, friend. I'm doing my best. And I deeply and completely love, trust and accept myself. Okay, just breathe and let it all go. Your intention is your most powerful tool. Intend to be free. Intend to be joyful through the madness. Okay. Okay, I think somebody said, what's the difference between an enlightened person and an unenlightened person? And the enlightened person said, the enlightened person knows there's no difference. It's that simple. We're all here and we're all different, and that's amazing. And when we start to really see that, we can create harmony, and we can stop all these wars, even if it's just the wars within the family. Because even in the family, you get that, you know. I'm the oldest, so obviously I always think I'm right. And it can be harder for the younger ones, you know, trying to get their voice heard. So we really have to have real respect within our families. Because just because you're older and just because you're better qualified doesn't mean to say you know better. So, and we can see that all around us now as people start to work more from the heart than the head. Their intuition knows what's right for them, where an intellect won't. And I think we can see that in medicine as well. And mums, very often, they just feel something and they can be ridiculed and have been ridiculed in the past, but they know intuitively when something's right or wrong. So we've all got it inside, but we're so crammed up with the past and the belief systems and the fear of being judged and all of that nonsense that we don't listen into this magnificent beating heart that we've all got that connects us all and gives us so much fun and joy. So what else was I going to do? Oh yes, the body. I'm just touching on these subjects. I mean, obviously, I could have you here for a year working on this. The thing is to start from where you're at and to be aware of our behaviours, our shadow side as well as our good side, and to be willing to, to look at it and to change it and at least acknowledge it. But you can't acknowledge when you're full of rage. It's like when you're having that fight, you say things that can't be unsaid. So, or you write things that can't be unwritten. So it's best to just keep working in yourself and letting go and letting go. And then when you can talk calmly, when you're not being triggered, then it's very, you're going to get a result that benefits both people or all people in the situation. So let's talk about our poor bodies. Because I know I criticise mine all my life, and I'm sure most of us have done the same. And now, I don't really care about my weight quite as much, although definitely I don't like a big fat belly that gets in the way when I'm doing yoga. But mostly it's the judgment for me in the last few years has been looking at my face, getting older and just like, oh my God. And then obviously as you get older, there's other things that happen in the body that you start to judge as well. Not being able to do the crab the way you used to and things because you've basically stopped doing it. Our brains, it's the truest saying in the world is if you don't use it, you will lose it. So the body, when you think about what we've put it through, all the things that we've been thinking, the 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, all the negative feelings, all the hostile perceptions, looking out in the world and judging everything and everything being scared, etc. It's really a miracle that we're all still alive. The body is a phenomenal thing. 80 or so trillion vibrating cells, all these pathogens and microbes are living on us and in us. I think the more we learn, the more incredible it becomes. But of course, within that, because when we carry the past, we start to get heavy. We start to get less joyful. We start to lose our sense of humour. We don't laugh as much because suddenly life doesn't seem quite as funny. And that's what letting go gives you back. And with this intermittent fasting, thank you everybody that's joined in because, oh my God, I am blown away with the testimonies already and we're 8-9 days in? It's just unbelievable. Just by compressing your eating time. And I'm sure everybody's eating a little bit more healthy as well. But even if you're not, you're going to get a result just by paying attention to when you eat. And, it stuns me. I run retreats in Malta. Hopefully, maybe if not this year, but next, where I take you only 6 people on a really deep dive, and it's called the Immersion Retreat. 6 people only. It's very bespoke because I'm keeping an eye on everybody, really wanting everybody to be as light as possible by the end of it. And it stuns me every year, the difference we can make in a week. But of course it's the sustaining of it, isn't it? Letting go you have to put your bin out every day. And you have to let go every day because you will have gathered more rubbish today. So you want to let it all go. Every day, really just clean your energy field. Put out the rubbish. Put out all the resentments and judgments that you've gathered. Make it a habit, like brushing your teeth. I say to my clients, put your toothbrush down and look in the mirror and tap around with your affirmations, whatever they are for you. So let's do a little bit of work around the body, the poor body that's taking all the judgment, that's holding all the memories. And, a lot of stuff that we're holding in the body didn't even really happen. Our memories are very, very dodgy. They reckon 50% accurate, at least. And I'm not taking away from people that have had traumatic memories, not at all. But I just mean in general, most of us are carting around a lot of stuff from the past that didn't even really happen. We got a fright, we thought things were happening, we perceived things, and the body's still holding it as if it's true. So we really have to start treating this phenomenal energy mass with a lot more kindness and compassion and love. The way you would treat your friend, the way you would treat your child, the way you would treat your animal, with love and compassion. Because every cell in your body is made of that high vibrator. It has the capacity to go into that high vibration where disease cannot exist. I'm going to talk about more 5-dimensional vibrations, where you move out of this illusion of solidity and gravity and suffering and heaviness, and you move into these much higher states of being. And we can go there with meditation, with breathing, with letting go, with a high vibrational diet. There's lots of different ways we can get there and touch into it for a moment. But the whole thing is obviously the sustaining of that. Hang around people that make you feel good and that bring you up. That is one of the top things you have to do. So, and I'm not saying weed out and ditch anybody who's negative right now, not at all. But we need to encourage each other. We need to say, up, get into the forest, get into the cold, let's do some breathing, let's do some meditation, let's get a bottle of wine and have a scream, have a laugh. All of these things are going to raise your vibration, and we need to take responsibility for that. Your body, the happier you can stay, the more joyful you can stay, the longer you're going to be here. Your heart rate will just be beating away like a happy wee organ, instead of going, oh my God, what's going on here? Oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? Because we're in thinking negative thoughts, worrying about the future, worrying about the past, dragging everything around, yada, 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 saying, you're not the right weight, you don't look the right, my legs are too hairy, my butt's not big enough, my butt's too big, all of that stuff. I don't know what men say, but that's the kind of stuff that women say. We're never happy with the body. And the body knows. So let's do a little bit of letting go and breathing about loving these cells, this container for your soul. Yes, let's do some loving, give it some love. So just close your eyes and really become aware of the body. Feel it. And what part of it is it that you judge the most? Maybe there's some stored cells there. Maybe there's some pain there. Maybe it's your old wrinkled face like mine. Whatever it is, just allow all that judgment of the body to be. Maybe you've got a prognosis or a diagnosis that's scary. Just allow whatever's there to be there. Let it be. Let it be. And just allow yourself to love that area just a little bit more. Allow a bit of approval into the body. Allow yourself to approve of the cells that contain your soul. And a little bit more approval. A little bit more love and appreciation. Feel that vibration going through every cell in your body. Gratitude for this opportunity to be here now in this unbelievable time on earth. And send that frequency to every cell. And the cells will start to expand now. They're your little friends. They're listening to you, obeying you, following your direction. You just need to really tune in and become one with them. Understand they are on your side. The intelligence that made you, the blueprint. When you tune in to the blueprint, healing can and will happen. And just tap with me. Even although I've judged this body harshly, because it didn't look and feel exactly the way I wanted it to. And even although I've criticised it, wished it was different, stayed in because I didn't like the way it looked. All of the things that I've done around this poor, vibrating mass of cells. But I deeply and completely love, trust and accept my cells. And I'm letting go of all this judgment and all the fear that it should be doing something different, that it's getting it wrong, that it's working against me, that other people look at it and don't like it either. Ever done that? I'm just letting all of that go now. I'm letting it all go, and I'm letting these cells expand and release and have a wee bath in some joy for a change. Okay, nice deep breath. Okay, so you might need to practice the love for your cells a little bit more, but always keep the mind open that things can go in one release, and you may feel nothing but gratitude from now on for the opportunity to be hanging out in these cells. So, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not going to answer them right now because of my eyesight, etc. If you think this video will help others, please share it. Like the Heal Scotland page. We've got a free app that I send daily reminders and interesting information, all to help you and your family, all to empower you. Thanks, Mark. All information that I wish somebody had given me a long time ago. This movement has got to be about us getting back into our communities and helping each other. If you can, when Scotland's Wild Medicine comes out, you will have the handbook. It's the beginners to all the science and the foraging and the medicine that is right out there, quite often outside your door. So we need people to start groups, ambassadors that are really going to lead. We need more leaders, but the leading has to come from a place of non-judgment. It has to be inclusive. And we are very mindful of that when we're organising things, that everybody can be involved to some degree. And that's why I love Tai Chi and Qigong, because you can do it in a chair. Meditation, you can do it no matter where they are. And so thank you all so much for staying with me. I know that your time is precious, and by this time, I know my brain usually switches off. Thanks, Mags. Thanks, Tracy. And yeah, I'm going to be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. and we're going to be doing just some breathing exercises and again a little bit of EFT, because now obviously we're getting into the middle of the second week, and then people start going, what happens when I stop fasting? Well, of course, what we recommend is that you would always have at least 14 hours of a fast every day. That's the way to stay well. And if you want to expand in your fasting, because the phenomenal health benefits of it, then this intermittent fasting, just compress your eating time and stretch your fasting time, and just be mindful, there is no race right now. You want to just gently work with the body. Some people like the challenge, like to be a bit more challenged. I do sometimes. I'm definitely going to do the one meal. I'll probably do that tomorrow actually, and see how that feels. I'm definitely work well between sort of 11 and 5. I find that really easy, to be honest. So find the fasting time, and if you really want to stay well, then keep going. Maybe don't make it quite as extreme. But so tomorrow we'll do some breathing and some more tapping. Anyway, thanks a lot. Have a wonderful sleep, and huge love to you all. Ciao.